Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Crossland from the Durham Energy Institute, and I'm here to try and tell you why electricity is so exciting. Normally a difficult job, but right now electricity is telling us all about the low carbon future that we all crave. And this is on the back of British electricity, which has seen 2 continuous coal-free months, no electricity being generated from coal for 2 months in a row this year, which is remarkable for a country that was so heavily dependent on coal for so much of our lives just a few decades ago. As I speak on this sunny Monday, 20% of our electricity is being generated by solar. That's solar power in Britain. And over the last year, over 60% of our electricity has come from low carbon sources. And wind now provides more electricity every year than nuclear power. And that's amazing for a technology that was relatively new just 10 years ago. All this means massive decarbonisation. Decarbonisation of electricity, the carbon intensity of what we generate is half what it was 10 years ago. We're all getting more energy efficient in our lives. The LED light bulb is commonplace everywhere. 1 million of us have adopted solar panels on our homes. Some of us even have batteries to go with that solar panels. And that means in these homes, they're generating between 60 and 80% of their own electricity each year. Batteries and solar really are a technology for the future. Looking around the world, let's go to the Pacific Islands, who are seeing themselves as needing to be world leaders in decarbonisation because they're so acutely affected by climate change, and working on projects in Tonga and Tuvalu, both countries with really ambitious carbon targets, getting to 80 or 90% of their energy coming from renewables within 10 years. And one of those projects in Tonga will see electricity provided where it's never been provided before, and 100% renewable from day one. I'm also fortunate to work in New Zealand some of the time, where 80% of their electricity comes from renewables, and the government are saying that's not enough. They want to achieve 100% renewable electricity and decarbonise their heat sector and decarbonise their transport sector. And all this is having an effect. The big oil majors are struggling. BP announcing today that they're wiping billions of pounds off their asset base because they're seeing a low carbon economy coming in the post-COVID world. That's remarkable. And actually, it's really interesting as we walk about the streets. I find I don't really think about it when I see an EV anymore. They're quite common. And for a lot of people, they're a desirable item now. These aren't some hippie wagon that some people might want. These are real cars that people really want to have and really want to drive. And our heat sector is starting to be decarbonised. And I'd only refer to the amazing work being done by others at the Durham Energy Institute in low carbon heat, where be that from electricity or old mine water. What an amazing idea. That's just a short sample of why I think the future of energy is so exciting. There's a few ways that you can follow the work I do and what Durham Energy Institute do, which is incredible. There are things you can do at home to get involved. Just a couple of easy ones. Follow MyGridGB on Twitter, which lets you see where power is coming from all the time. I've got to refer to my book, Decarbonising Electricity Made Simple, which was written with some help from the DEI, which talks about how Britain's energy system might be decarbonised in the future. And lastly, I'd say, just go out and feel good about yourselves. Low carbon future is upon us. It's coming, it's happening, and let's all get involved in it. So enjoy your EcoFest, and sorry I can't be with you.
Hello EcoFest, I'm Marcos Cruz, PhD student in the engineering department, and my work is about making electricity cheaper and more reliable. And the focus is on distributed generation. And what is that? Is the small scale generation, so the type of generator that you can find in a building or in a house. So from batteries to solar panels to diesel generators. So how do we make them more accessible to more people? The big problem with that is that they need to coordinate you need to coordinate different resources instead of a big giant power plant and then just supply to everyone. So now you have different resources, either trading or sending energy in one direction, and next hour the energy goes in the other direction. So that requires a lot of coordination, and of course people are already busy doing the thing to also coordinating their own generation. So what I do is that I'm designing a combination of artificial intelligences to work on that. They are called agents. So it's a small unit of artificial intelligence that coordinates with other agents, and between them they find an optimal solution to the problem, in this case minimizing the cost of generation. So in other words, paying less electricity. The challenges, apart from coordinating the artificial intelligence, is coordinating the electrical parts. So I'm also working on that, making sure that your devices still work as they are supposed to do, and then nothing breaks down. And that's basically my work. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the basic idea. And what gives me hope that this will be used in the future is that every year I see more and more people installing their own panels, or trying to buy products that consume less energy. So my hope is in the people. It's in people like you that have an interest in ecology and solving the climate change, one step at a time. So of course it requires a lot more than that, but if it's part of our society, then it will be part of our economy and part of our political system as well. So yeah, one step at a time. So if you wanna help, try to make your battery last the longest, reduce the volume of your phone, reduce the brightness, read a book every now and then, turn off your devices. So the simple things you already know, you just have to do that. It's as simple as that, and teach others, continue learning. That's the best way to create change, get more people involved. One more time, I'm Marcos Cruz, PhD student of Durham University. Thank you very much.
Hi, EcoFest. Thank you very much for inviting me. My name's Jacki Bell. I'm a chartered civil engineer and I work for Durham Energy Institute. And Durham Energy Institute is a research institute based at the university which looks at the transition we can from our current energy usage into the future and how we can achieve net zero. And you may know that net zero is an aim for 2050 for all countries around the world, is actually to reduce our carbon emissions. So we've been doing a lot of work on that, and I've set up the Durham Heat Hub, which is joint with Durham County Council, and the aim of that is to actually use our research and apply it in various different projects, and also to try and educate and make sure that people are aware of all the things that are going on and what they could be doing as well to reduce their carbon emissions. So if you're not already aware, heating is a big issue within carbon and carbon reduction, and our heating currently uses up a third, or contributes to a third, of the UK's carbon emissions. So it's a big area to look at. We've done a lot in decarbonising electricity through the use of offshore wind and solar in particular, but actually we really need to look at heat now. So we've been looking at all of these things within the institute, and one of the ways that we need to look at those is also making sure that it's a fair and equitable transition for everybody in the community, and that we don't disadvantage anybody by moving on to new forms of heating and new sources of fuel. So Again, a bit of chemistry for you. Current most people's homes are heated using natural gas, which is actually methane. So the chemical composition of that is carbon and 4 parts hydrogen. So what we need to do is get rid of the carbon from our heating, because it's causing a lot of emissions, and we need to move on to something that's not going to contribute any more carbon. And one of those forms is hydrogen. So we've been looking at actually whether we can shift from using natural gas, from using methane, actually to using the purer form of hydrogen in order to provide heating, and that's looking very, very promising, and a lot of investment has gone into doing that. So that could be the future for you. If you're on the gas network at the moment, your gas suppliers are looking at whether they can actually just move across to hydrogen. The big issues with that have been whether you can actually produce it at cost. It's very expensive to actually produce it at the moment, so that's where a lot of investment is going into. But if we can use all the excess energy that's being produced by offshore wind when there's too much wind, and store it and use it to do that, then that's really promising. And we're talking maybe 5 or 10 years where we can actually transition across to that. As well as that, we've also seen very recently 2 big housing estates actually being constructed using mine water heating, so actually using the warm water beneath your feet to provide a heat source for 1,500 homes near Seaham. They're going to be connected into the Dordon Colliery mine water pumping, so that's fantastic. And also recently there's been one announced for 1,200 homes up in Gateshead. So again, sources of renewable heat that we know is there, that will go on for hundreds of years, which doesn't produce carbon. So they're great steps forward. We're also working with new technology in ground source and air source heating, and that's also an excellent way of looking at changing your currently carbon-based heating forms. So there's all of those things going on. One of the other things that we've been involved in recently as well is making sure that and everybody should be looking at making sure that your home is adequately insulated, so you're not actually losing any losses. I think I'm conscious that we've only got 5 minutes, so there's lots and lots that we could discuss. For hope-wise, we've been asked to talk about this. I'm really hopeful that we have got the technologies that we need. We've certainly got some very, very bright people to work on these. So what we do need, what's missing, is actually the policy and the investment to make sure they're implemented within the timescale. It is all there, we can do it, and that's what we need. So we need people to be aware that that's the missing piece, and when they are talking to their policymakers, to their council, to their planners, to the government, actually be asking, because we want the green transition, we want to make sure it's fair. The research is there, the technology's there, we just need to make it happen. So that's my very hopeful view of the future and getting towards 2050. It's all within our grasp, we just need to make sure that it's put there. And I've put a slide here at the end just giving you a few facts and details, and if you want any links or want to contact the Energy Institute for more information, very happy to invite you along to our lectures and the series of events that we're doing, and look forward to seeing you and enjoy the rest of the festival. Thanks very much.